about this 15-year-old girl in Boston's Children's Hospital, and it bothers us so much. We both believe, we were talking about it on Friday, we both believe this is in the class of Terry Schiavo. This is an injustice that has to be rectified.
And soon. I was telling my wife this story yesterday. She just couldn't get her head around it. She just didn't believe. She kept thinking and saying, well, there's got to be some other thing we don't know about. There has to be something else that happened here. How can they do this? How can a hospital do this? If you don't know the story.
Okay, here's the story. Justine is a 15-year-old girl. She has mitochondrial. It's a disease that affects all kinds of things.
Muscles mainly, right?
Yeah, muscles, digesting of food, muscle weakness. You can lose your vision and hearing. It'll come and go. It's a nasty, nasty disease. And what it is, it's like, there's all kinds of power centers in your body. And for instance, your eyes take a lot of energy to run. And so when you are not digesting food, when your energy starts to be zapped, it starts shutting things down. And so it's a really nasty disease. Now, this young lady, 15 years old, she had been going to Tufts University. Now, Tufts Floating Hospital for Children is, pretty good. Would you say Tufts is a pretty good hospital?
Yeah.
It's not like Bob's Hospital.
No, right.
Tufts University. She had been seeing Dr. Mark Corson. He is an expert in exactly what she has: metabolic disorders, genetics, and mitochondrial. So, well-respected physician. He specializes in pediatric and gastrointestinal disorders. She's also seen by Dr. Flores. Flores is an expert in gastrointestinal disorders. He moves from Tufts to Boston Children's Hospital. Now, the time he moves, Justina is doing really, really well. However, her digestive system stops working, which is consistent with her diagnosis. Because she had been seeing this other doctor, she goes from Hartford and she goes up to Boston's Children's Hospital, where this gastrointestinal doctor was. They go up to go see him. Well, he doesn't see her. She has the flu. She's getting worse. He's not in. So they go into the emergency room. When she goes into the emergency room, believe it or not, one of the doctors there, she said, the parents say she has mitochondrial disease. And one of the doctors, even though Boston has a mitochondrial clinic in that hospital, the doctor says that disease doesn't even exist. Excuse me? That disease doesn't exist. He diagnoses her with something else, which is a disease. What is the name of this thing?
Is that the
Strata
proxy?
Yeah, no, it's a
Munchausen by proxy.
It's kind of like a Munchausen by proxy. It's not the same thing,
but it's something where it's a psychological deal that your parents are doing to you.
Yeah, your parents are your parents are over medicalizing you.
Yeah,
and so parents are told, you're bringing this on your daughter. Now, imagine you go to a doctor, an emergency room doctor, and this doctor says the disease that you have, you've spent years researching, the disease that Tufts University and several other doctors have diagnosed and your other daughter has, and they say to you, that doesn't even exist. And we're going to treat her for something else because you're making her sick.
I'd say, no, you're not. And I'd be pissed, and I would try to take her from the hospital. Then.
As soon as you try to take her from the hospital, that's when they start the proceedings against Justina's parents, and saying that the parents are out of control. Because the parents, as I would have, when the hospital said, you signed right here. In fact, I think I have the actual statement that they have to sign here. A transfer will be made only when medical appropriate and when appropriate information related to the care, treatment, and services provided is exchanged with care providers at the receiving facility. Any transfer except an emergency will be fully explained and provisions for continuing care will be made. You cannot transfer your children out. You cannot. Once, it's like Hotel California. You check in, you can never check them out. Unless the doctors there say it's okay. Well, the doctors there said, no, these parents are out of control.
Where was the doctor that had transferred from Tufts during this time?
I don't know where the doctor was.
Yeah, that's a great question, because if
that
been
seems
diagnosed
like-
by other legitimate medical organizations, why aren't those people stepping up and saying, wait a minute?
They are. They are.
Oh, good.
They've all testified. All of the other doctors that have seen her, they're all testifying. What are you doing? Now, so you know, this happened last February. So she checked in, and she was doing fine, except she was having problems. She was not digesting food. So that's what she was being treated for. That's why they brought her up there to see that doctor. So they stopped treating her for mitochondrial, and they started treating her for this. They started putting her on antipsychotic medication.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay? Imagine you as a parent.
Oh, I can't imagine this because of my oldest daughter's problems. You remember this? When she wasn't
I do.
digesting food. And so everybody kept, she was 19 at the time. And so
They kept saying that she
kept saying she was anorexic.
Yeah.
Well, what anorexic that you know comes seeking help, saying, help me, I can't digest my food. I can't eat anything. I vomit every time I eat because I get sick, not because I'm sticking my fingers down my throat. And so, if you're anorexic or any of those sorts of disorders, you don't want doctors near you. You don't seek help. You're just trying to deal with it on your own. And they kept saying, it's some kind of mental thing. Well, they finally found out it was this really, really rare situation that they just barely stumbled onto, where some sort of ligament had tied around her digestive tract and was squeezing off 95% of her stomach.
Holy cow.
Oh, my God.
So she got down to 88 pounds, and we had her in the hospital, and the doctor said, we're gonna keep looking until we find something. She can't leave until then. But we were on board with that because, she was in danger at the time. But all along, up until we found this great guy who knew us and listened on the air and stuff in Houston, up until then, everybody thought we were crazy, or we were doing something to her, or she was doing something to herself. So I can kind of relate to that, but they do this.
Okay, so this was in February. Here's the latest. GI doctors at Boston Children's Hospital have never been seen. They've never seen her.
Jeez.
The family was told that Justina would be placed on the psych floor, which she is since February. She's still there.
And not being treated for the mitochondrial.
And she is not being treated, and the doctors from Tufts are not allowed to see her. The doctors that she has had her whole life are not allowed to see her. The hospital also hasn't allowed tutors from West Hartford School District, where she's from, to see Justina. She is not allowed to see any friends, and she's only allowed to see her parents once a week for an hour. Reports now are that she has regressed to a first grade level of learning.
And how old is she?
She's 15.
Oh.
When she came in, she could walk under her own power. Her muscles have regressed now. She has to walk with a harness. Her legs are now cold and large. And up until she went into the hospital, she had never been on any antipsychotic medication. That's all she's doing. The parents are missing all kinds of work, and the hospital is still fighting. Last week, they went in front of a judge. The family went in front of a judge and said, this has got to stop. You're killing our child. And the judge said they wanted another week. The best thing that you can do is to spread this story as far as you can. I want you to go to Mito, M-I-T-O, Action, mitoaction.org, and look for this story and what you can do to help, and get this story out as far and as wide as you possibly can. I'd love to see this girl come home for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that is going to happen. The hospital has dug their heels in, and as Pat said, you look at this and you say, well, no, there's got to be something else.
Yeah.
There has to be something else.
It does feel like that.
Because what's the motivation of the hospital? Why are they doing this? Why would they want this so badly?
Well, Kevin Hall, Citizens Commission on Human Rights in New England, according to Fox in Connecticut, said that CPS is kidnapping children for profit.
So CPS is part of this?
Yeah. Now that's what this guy says. Bo Berman, he is the reporter. He's not willing to go on the record. I'm just looking through all the things. Here's lawyer Beth Maloney
Now, a lot of these people are under a gag order, right?
Yeah,
they can't speak.
Some of these, well, no, I don't have the gag order.
Well, it's
but some of these things I just don't. I would rather have them say it than me.
Yeah.
There are the hospital receives a lot of government money, and you get federal subsidies if you have foster care programs. So, in other words, any child that goes into foster care, which she is, then you get government subsidies.
Unbelievable.
There is other reports. Let's see if I have them here.
Hard to believe a whole. I mean, it's hard to believe a whole hospital is a. I don't know. I mean,
no, I don't think the whole hospital is.
Is it just
What
one of
about
those
the
things
nurses
where,
attending to her? Aren't they saying something? The nurses have got to be like, this girl is sick and
can't
she's getting worse. It's been 10
You
months.
can't get anybody to go. You can't. What are you going to do? You can't get anybody to go outside of what the judge says. What are you going to do as a parent? The parents can't speak to anyone. The parents are under a gag order.
Yeah, but the
so
nurses
I can't
or
put the
somebody
parents on
attending
it.
to her, right? Couldn't somebody speak out?
Are you going to?
Well, I don't know.
Do you think you know better than the doctors at Boston Children's Hospital?
I wonder if it's something where
You can't talk to the parents. You don't know the parents.
Yeah.
they feel like they are now locked into their initial decision.
Yes.
Like they, you
This is, by the way, we have reports that this is not the only hospital this is happening. There's another one in Pittsburgh where parents brought their kids in, their child in for kidney dialysis, and those parents had their child taken from them. And in that case, it really looks like it's because of the hospital was getting subsidies from the state because of foster care, because the parents couldn't afford it. And so they take the child away, put them in foster care, and that way the hospital can get paid by the state. But the parents, in the meantime, have lost custody of their child.
it seems to me if you have two competing diagnoses from
the one that
from legitimate medical sources, the parent is the one who gets to make the decision.
No.
That's what it should be.
Yeah, but it's not anymore.
I mean, that's
what this really is all about. Is they say Melissa Harris Perry, the children all belong to all of us.
Yeah.
And so if there is somebody with a degree or an expert in a field and they deem that your child should not be with you, you lose your child.
Yeah. Takes
You
a
lose
village.
your child.
Takes a village to raise a child. I disagree with that, of course. I've always believed it takes the village people to raise a child. Because then you have the cowboy,
Yeah.
you have the American Indian, you have the motorcycle guy, you have the cop.
you're trained for everything.
Yeah. So you get
Well,
little
that's
bit
a
of
really
everything.
good point. And thanks for cheapening this. Here's the thing. Go to mitoaction.org, M-I-T-O action.org, and please spread the word. This is a really horrible thing, and we can't talk to anybody involved because they're under gag orders. So we're giving you the information that we have, but, I mean, that is an outrage in and of itself. You're a parent, and a judge puts you under a gag order. It's my child. I have a right to have somebody help me. Help me, help me, help me. These parents don't have that right. It's an outrage. Please get involved. mitoaction.org.